the house, Kish.
Oh, yes.
It is finally that time.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Owaki is in the house.
The moment we've been waiting for.
The moment we've been waiting for.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So today we are so privileged and so honored to have in the studio the immediate former Secretary General of the Seafarers Union of Kenya, Mr. Stephen Owaki. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yeah. And Mr. Owaki, for the benefit of our listeners, kindly tell us about your journey from joining the Seafarers Union of Kenya to becoming its Secretary General.
Yeah, to start with, my name is Stephen Owaki.
Yes.
And to start, I was in Kenya Navy in the 1990s. And then I left. I became a civilian like any other person. And then from there, Seafarers Union is an old union which has been there for all those years. Unfortunately, it had not been gone through so well. One, because of lack of employment among the seafarers. And second, lack of leadership also in the union.
Yeah.
So in 2011, we came together with other seafarers and actually initiated efforts to revive the union and make it more stronger to serve the seafarers who are its members. So in that effort, we went to elections in 2013, and then from there, we were elected as officials of the union. I became, in that elections of 2013, I was elected as Deputy Secretary General. And then in 2016, again, we went for elections because they're normally held after 5 years. And then in 2016, we had elections in which now I became the General Secretary. And I was in the union as a General Secretary from 2016 up to last year, 2024, January, when another group took over to run the union. So all along, we have been working closely with the government because basically seafaring or maritime industry, for that matter, is not anyone's docket. It's mainly managed by the government because, for instance, we don't have individual Kenyans who own ships. Yeah. And it's only the arrangement of the government that you can have ships and create employment for Kenyan youth.
Yeah.
So in 2018, Kenya government entered to a memorandum of understanding after holding the Blue Economy Conference, you remember? And then they went ahead to sign an MOU with Mediterranean Shipping Company. Among other things in that MOU, they agreed that the Mediterranean Shipping Company will be recruiting 2,500 Kenyans, Kenyan youth actually, every year for employment. And just to add on that, Mediterranean Shipping Company is one of the largest ship owners in the world today. It has more than 500 vessels.
Yeah.
Some cruise ships, cargo ships, tankers, name them, owned by the company. So from 2018, they came and started recruiting Kenyans, mainly in the hotel industry, that's hospitality. Because one, Kenya was known to be, and actually known worldwide to be having big hotels, good hotels, yeah. It's also known to be having good training institutions in the hospitality industry. Utalii College is known world over. And then tourist attraction centers, wildlife, and all that. So we were known to be actually having skills, the youth having skills in the hospitality. And therefore, they qualified actually to be recruited to work on board the ships. Alongside other regular seafarers, the ratings and officers. So that arrangement has been there from 2018 up to where we are today and is still continuing. However, it has also faced some challenges. One, change of government, because the government that entered into MOU where the Mediterranean shipping company is no longer in power. When a new government came in 2022, unfortunately or fortunately, they created maritime industry, and we thought for the first time we are going at least to be having an authority now working directly for industry. Along the way also, they were not passionate, I would say so. Yeah, the minister then in transport and those others. One, they never knew much about maritime industry for that matter. Second, they never had that kind of interest to focus seriously on maritime industry. And it's still happening up to date as we speak. So the opportunities that had been agreed during that time has kept on doodling in so many other areas. One, they recruit few people. Second, in between recruitments, it takes time so that, and then after recruitment also, they don't go to the ships immediately. Even those who are there, when they come back, they overstay. Promotions are rare to come across and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So added to all this, there has come what today is known as NEA, National Employment Authority. And it's very, very unfortunate. They're also encroaching into seafaring or maritime industry. And yet, NEA has got absolutely nothing to do with seafarers. Their main area is migrant workers, those who are going in the Middle East. That is the main purpose NEA was actually created for. NEA does not create employment for seafarers. Ask them if they have brought any ship to recruit seafarers. Never for all those years. And we don't understand as to why. What interest do they have in the seafaring? Yeah. Because for one, seafarers are not migrant workers. Seafarers all over the world are recruited on contract. They sign on, they sign off. Their contract hardly takes a year, 9 months, 6 months, around there. So for them again to be treated as migrant workers, it doesn't make sense. And the worst part of it is that seafarers all over the world are protected by what is known as MLC Convention 2006. Yeah, that's an international body that was created. Even the government of Kenya was involved in creation of the convention. Yeah, and it protects seafarers all over. So today, it's very unfortunate that you hear they are following individual seafarers up to the airport to stop them traveling outside the country. It's very painful, very, really painful. Because you ask yourself, what interests? What has they to do with the seafarers in the first place? If their interest is not that good for us, And added to that, from what I've heard, their intention is they're asking if they have been registered with NEA. And with the agencies handling migrant labor or other workers, they pay for license from NEA, they pay 500,000, which is normally treated as a bond. Bond is never paid by individuals. Bonds is paid by organizations who are doing the business in that area. Yeah, the recruitment agencies don't deal with the migrant workers. They deal strictly with seafarers. And seafarers are protected. That's one thing I also need to add. Seafarers in the world, the whole world as we speak today, are the most protected workers all over the world. For instance, failure to pay a seafarer salary for 1 month is enough to stop that ship from going to the sea until that salary is paid. Yeah, and you can see how serious that case is. Yeah, in majority of cases, even those seafarers that get abandoned by their employers, the ship is simply sold through auction, and the proceedings from the sale is paid seafarers. The remaining probably can be left to the owner of the ship. That's how you have never heard that seafarers have gone on strike. They've never over issues of salary just because of that protection. Now, for NEA to come in and start demanding or harassing Kenyan seafarers, it doesn't make sense. Seriously, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, over something like they have not been registered with NEA. How will they be registered? Seafarers are so much protected that even union dues is paid by the employer.
Yeah.
Yes, it's never deducted from the salary like other workers we have around here. Even doctors, they will cut it from their salary. But for seafarers, it's the employer. When you look at the payslip of a seafarer, there's the salary, additional salary, the additional wages, which includes union dues. Yeah, and overtime and all that kind of stuff. So we need to make it very clear that right from the word go, NEA has got nothing to do with seafarers. NEA should not involve itself with seafarers. And in any case, they want to involve themselves. They're not involving themselves in the good, for the best interest of seafarers. Finally, and this is what I want to make it very clear also, that in case NEA goes ahead and enforce that, what they're calling the regulations for seafarers, for the agencies to pay the mandatory 500,000 they're asking. What will happen next is that they'll just close shop and go elsewhere. Because those countries that have been recruiting here, they recruit all over the world. They are not confined and restricted to Kenyan seafarers. When they find the conditions unbearable, they simply go. And I don't think if NEA will ever bring them back to recruit. As we speak now, we have more than 10,000 Kenyan seafarers working on board those ships. And some of them earn up to 500,000 US dollars. Yeah? Where will they earn that money if those jobs are gone? Yeah? And the income they bring to the country in terms of foreign exchange and the like, who will do it? Even those who are working in the Saudi and the likes, they don't bring anything here. Whatever they bring is not comparable to seafarers. Yeah. So those are issues that need to be very much understood by everybody. And let's not spoil what we cannot make. Yeah. Let us not destroy those opportunities when it's very known and clear that we cannot create them. Today we have Kenyans who are now training as ship officers. Yeah. For the first time, Kenyan captain, a female, Elizabeth Marami, a beneficiary of the same opportunities. Yeah. For the first time in the history of Kenya, we never had any captain woman before. But today we can boast of one because of those opportunities. Now tell me if there's anybody who can talk like that about NEA, because of NEA, and say because of NEA, I'm today like this and this and that. Has there been any? No training, nothing. And then they want to destroy the opportunities for those. Those are not people. They're not good people. And yet, this is an institution created by the Act of Parliament. We have never had among the statutes where others are more superior than the other. The only, what we know is the Constitution. Yes. And the Maritime Labour Convention 2006, it's not in conflict with our Constitution. Why is NEA coming in? It beats all the logic. Yeah? Their intention is not good, and they must be stopped. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Stephen, I'm glad that you mentioned NEA, though we actually were supposed to talk about it later in the show, because over the weekend, there were actually some Kenyans who were denied passes because they didn't have NEA certification. So, but let me just take you back a little bit from where it all started.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier on that before the revival of the seafarer welfare, there was a lot of challenges, such as the employment, lack of employment.
Yes.
So tell me, maybe the inspiration, maybe some particular experience that inspired you into joining the seafarer welfare and maritime labor representation.
One, Kenya is known world over to be having very hardworking people. Yeah, very hardworking, self-driven, with minimum supervisions. Those are the Kenyan workers. So even among the seafarers, we have them, yeah. But unfortunately, they were not on employment, and it was really paining us. Leave alone that before then, Kenya used to have real well-known famous seafarers who had actually gone all over the world as seafarers. Now we are asking ourselves, where did we go wrong? Yeah, and one among many other reasons is that there is what we call white list. Yeah, you know, initially, or rather before then, seafarers were not required for training. You could just go to the ship because of your physical fitness. There you go, start working. But it reached a point, there was now a requirement, mandatory requirement for seafarers to undergo training. Now, training, you could not go have it in these TVET institutions. We never had such kind of training. Training, you had just to establish a maritime academy, or rather a maritime training school, furnish it with all the requirements, equipments, and everything. We never had that one also. So in short, what I'm saying, we were not, as a country, we were not on the white list. White list are those countries that are qualified through IMO to provide maritime training for its people. And it was not just for 1 year. You know, you have heard of Dar es Salaam Maritime Training Institute, or rather Dar es Salaam Maritime Institute, DMI. It has been there since 1978. As today we talk of Bandari, which was just established. Okay, before then it was Kenya Ports Authority Training Institution. But in 2018 now, the government deliberately converted it to a maritime training institution. And they made it Bandari Maritime Academy. Yeah, for sole purpose of training Kenyan youth for purposes of getting employment to the sea. So all those efforts and campaigns, sensitization, creating awareness are what drove us, because majority of people you meet on the streets, they know nothing, including even those in the government and high positions in the government, including the minister, whatever, they don't know anything. Every time you talk about issues of seafaring, it's like you're preaching to them a gospel. Yeah. And those has been the case actually with our situation. Yeah. So today, as we speak, if you find a real qualified seafarer, marine engineer, yeah, master of the ship, captain, that is, all of them are trained outside. Because it's never something that you go today in class and then the following day you come out as a pilot or a captain or a marine engineer. It takes time, 5 years to have a degree, sea time and all that. It's finally when you become an officer. So, and because we never had training institutions, you can imagine how hard it was for people to train. And it's also very expensive to undertake maritime training. Very expensive. You know, it's very expensive. It's not just for every Harry, Tom, and Dickon on the streets. Yeah, to undertake that training. Yeah. And where it happens is through the government effort.
Yeah.
In all those places that you hear good training institutions, is because of the government. Deliberate government efforts to fund, bring everything and make sure that the institutions are working and functioning. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So looking back at your years as Secretary General, what would you say were your biggest achievements in the Seafaring Union of Kenya?
Yeah, the biggest achievement we had, and we were lucky to have been in the union at the right time, is the blue economy in 2018.
Yeah.
We never brought the blue economy, but it came when we were in the office. So we took advantage of that. That's one. Second, the government coming in now to focus on maritime industry. Yeah, at the time when we were in the office. And that finally led to employment of seafarers, which was our dream from the beginning. Because initially we never had seafarers. Look at it from those points. Have you ever asked yourself how many Kenyans own ships? Yeah, that's how we need to start from.
Yeah.
We don't have. Yeah. In fact, companies that has ships here is Alpha Logistics. And they don't even have what we call ships. Those are coastal vessels. They don't go that far. Yeah. And these other vessels are for fisheries also. Yeah. Whereas Bakery has a ship. Amu Shipping has some ships. Amu is just owned by Grand Bulk. And it's the other day. They've been having ships actually for, what we call transshipments. In fact, that's what they do. You bring containers here, and then they're designated to go to Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam, and then they take those containers to those places. Not big ships. They carry 12, 20 containers. Yeah. But really big ships, we don't have them. Yeah. So that has been the main issue. And that's why all these other efforts is geared towards creating employment. Yeah, because every year you hear of thousands and thousands of Kenyans leaving school. Where do they go? Yeah, that's a question you have to ask ourselves. And not because there are no jobs, it's because we have never done anything about it. But with the little efforts the government today is doing, it's created a lot of good jobs for seafarers. And seafarers, again, also is one area that is highly paying. Yeah. The lowest paid seafarer as we speak now is in the range of 100,000 Kenya shillings. And it's tax-free. Yeah. It's tax-free. It's never taxed in here. It's never taxed even where they're working. Because why? Ships are never confined in one area. They're moving all over the place. So no country can claim to tax the seafarers. Yeah. So if, there are certain things that have not been put in place as we speak now also. The issue of allotment. Have you heard of allotment money? Now, allotment is done in this way. When seafarers go in ship or to work, they get salaries. Normally, in other countries, because they are in the ship, they don't have anywhere to spend that money. So those countries have devised a system whereby that money, it's not left to the seafarers. That money is transferred back to their home country through allotment. It's a deliberate act of parliament where the government, sits down and looks at how much do these seafarers generate. So in some cases, it's 80% of the salary you earn while in the ship is brought back to the country. Yeah. The rest, 20%, is what you are left with, because after all, you get everything in the ship. So the 80%, if you do just your rough calculations, is turning out to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, us here, we are talking of foreign exchange. What do you think if that money was arranged in a way that it could be coming to the Kenyan economy every month like this? How much will it be? We'll not be talking again of, and countries like Philippines, Brazil, and those others, India, seafaring is one area that is highly bringing back foreign exchange to the country. We have not reached there ourselves.
All right, that is amazing.
Amazing.
Mr. Waki, you've worked with international bodies, for example, the Transport Workers Federation and the Fair Practice Committee. So how has this shaped your how was your experience there, or maybe how did it shape your views on the betterment of the welfare, the seafarers' welfare in the country?
We have what we call ITF, International Transport Workers Federation. It's a federation of all transport workers unions in the whole world. Seafarers, railway, truck drivers, airways, and all that. And this is one organization that has been in existence for more than 120 years in existence. Yeah. So, and you can imagine from that point, the much they have acquired over the years. It's one of the biggest organizations we have in the world today, with the wealth of experience in running all these other issues. In fact, we went through the training by ITF just to run, how to run an organization. And it was fantastic. You learn things that you've never heard of around here in running. You know, like we were told in running an organization, you read three main things: governance, management skills, and the law, and they must go together. Yes, governance, the law, and management skills. You cannot have one in the absence of the others. They must, the three of them, must go together. And when you look at it in terms of how we run our organization here, you find it's absolutely missing that kind of an arrangement. Because you get people who are good in management, but they lack leadership. You get good leaders, but they're very poor in management. And all that. So ITF, as you had asked me, what I learned, and probably out of what I learned, what has helped me also to move around is that they have skills. I mean, they train people in acquiring skills for good management of organizations. That once you train with the ITF, it's never easy. Of course, there's always the human factor in training, whereby if you are lazy, you are lazy. But on a very serious note, it was a very, very good organization to go through and impact knowledge on areas of management, and running an organization. The same thing you refer to as FPC. FPC is Fair Practice Committee. Now, that was a committee formed by ITF in looking at issues of competition amongst member organizations. Because there could be cases whereby, there have been cases actually, whereby Kenyan seafarers, when they go to Dar es Salaam or rather Tanzania, they are removed from the ship because it's assumed they're doing work that can be done by Tanzanians. So why have Kenyans and yet this worker? So to harmonize that kind of arrangement is where FPC comes in. Fair practice now.
As far as you've said, seafarers are not taxed. Because they're always moving all over, and there's no country that can claim that they can tax them. So I know our listener is listening today, this morning. Amesikia kwamba seafarers are well paid.
Yes.
They do get something very nicely. So how would you describe the current situation of Kenyan seafarers? Are they getting enough opportunities for employment or on internationally and here in Kenya?
Here it's terrible. It's pathetic. Because here, seafarers, the lowest seafarer, some of them are earning $350. It's very little. Now, when you go out there, the lowest rating level is 1,800. And you can imagine, with one level of education, when you put at the local rate, nowhere they can earn 1,800. It's only in the ships, when they're employed on board the ships. And that's how you look at it. And that's how you also say seafarers is one of the best area for one to work in. Now, on issues of taxation, I need to say something also on top of that, of what I've already said, is that seafarers are never employed on permanent basis, permanent and pensionable. That means whatever they earn is consolidated. So you either use it well or you misuse it and you'll regret yourself. I mean, you'll regret thereafter. So today we have actually come up with mechanisms on how to support seafarers. But basically, seafarers are some of the well-paid. Because you are looking at it in terms of people get paid because of their level of education.
Yeah.
Now, the level of education of a seafarer and what he earns are two different things. Yeah. Because what they so much emphasize on is the nature of work.
Yeah.
Seafarer does not work at home. They don't stay at home. They work away from home, away from your family. Yeah. So that in itself puts a lot of demand on the seafarers. Yeah. You work away from home. Even the people you work with, not all of them are people you know. Sometimes you go there and you find yourself to be the only Kenyan. Look at it from that point also. Yeah. But still you have to work. So through all that, with those conditions they work in, hard seas, rough seas, yeah, and those conditions, you don't have your family, you are married. The cases even you just left your wife having delivered, but you have to go back to the sea, yeah. The cases you are out there, nobody knows what you are going through, yeah. And it's out of those conditions that makes seafarers now to be paid well. So it becomes more of an attraction to them to stay in the vessel, in the ship. But otherwise, if they had paid like any other person, I don't think if there could be people volunteering to go there. It's that high pay that attracts them. Makes the job to be more attractive also to any other person who will actually look for good life.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Waki, you've been very vocal about the seafarers when they go abroad, they get stranded or maybe exploited by rogue agents. So maybe you could tell us some of the big challenges or maybe biggest challenges that they face, the Kenyan seafarers face when they go to look for work abroad.
Yeah, let me put it this way. All these challenges, they will always be there. And now it depends on the employer. But again, we need to point out seafaring is not the same as migrant workers. Because seafarers want to start with, they're protected by the law. Now, issues of abandonment happens in places whereby, one, there was no contract. Because it's always emphasized that before joining a ship, you must have a well-written contract between the employer and the seafarer. Now, there are cases seafarers just leave the country. In fact, at times you hear, Niko, Somali. And some of these countries are not good in areas of employment. Somali, Saudi, and all those others. It's like, there are countries where there are no employment rights. Even China, the same thing. South America, they don't have those good laws that protecting workers. And it has always because of that you find seafarers going to those places only to be abandoned by their employers. But now when we come to well-established companies, like Mediterranean Shipping Companies, Mediterranean Shipping Company, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Vikings, name them, they are well-structured. You go there, you get a contract, you are well paid, you agree on what you are paid, and you know from the beginning what you are going to earn, and every time it's salary, it never misses. It's not like working in a county government where you can go for 3 months. In fact, if county governments were to follow the rules of seafarers, they could have been closed long time ago. So that's the difference. It depends on where you are working. Yeah, the places you go and you are never put on contract. And then what else do you expect? Abuse of your rights. Yeah, that's what happens. Abuse of your rights. But seafarers who are working in those well-established companies, even if something happens to them, they're protected. They will be brought home if it's medical conditions. You get treated, you recover, you go back to duty. Yeah. In case of accidents, they also compensate you. Yeah. And it doesn't create issues on compensation because it's captured in the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. In these other places where you never had a contract, what else do you expect? Yeah. Somebody will abuse your rights. And that's exactly what happens. When it, yeah.
So, thank you very much for that. How is Kenya's maritime training and certification system performing in preparing the youth or our youth for the global shipping market?
You know, you need to differentiate between certification and the training.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big issue is the training.
The training.
Yes. Because certification is done by only one institution. That's Kenya Maritime Authority.
Right.
Yeah. But now, for one to be given certificate, you must have, in the first place, undergone the training. Now, what are the qualities? I mean, how is the quality of our training institutions in the country today? We are struggling. Yeah, we are struggling. We have not reached where we want to be, but at least we are making efforts to be there. Probably in 5-10 years coming, we'll be somewhere. But all this also will depend if we continue the trend we have started today of people going to work. Because ask yourself, who will make effort to take somebody, or his son or her son, for training, only for that son to come out of training and be idle there? No employment. Yeah. So one, for the quality, I mean, for that training to be guaranteed, there must be a deliberate effort to create employment opportunities for these people.
Yeah.
And added to that, because training for seafarers does not only end in class. That's the theory part of it. But finally, you have to undergo the practical training. And that's where the ships comes in. Yeah. So us, we are yet to be there because majority of seafarers, today we have, how many institutions are doing training in marine engineering? We have TUM, we have Bandari, we have JKUAT, Jomo Kenyatta College of Agriculture and Technology, Juja. We have Jaramogi Odinga, we have Tomboya in those sites of Pangano, and quite a number of them, TVET institutions, are also coming up. We have the Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, which has also, through the funding of World Bank, has have a very good training institution constructed at WA, that probably by next year they will be opening its doors for new recruits, trainees. And that is in class. What of after class? Where do they go?
Yeah.
That's where the challenge is. Let me tell you that today. Because the requirement is that from class, you need to undergo what they call sea time. Cadetship. We don't have ships. Now, if we don't have ships, what guarantee do we have for these people who have just completed their courses in class? That's where the challenge is.
Yeah.
And it's a big challenge. Yeah. And I don't know, okay, it's something that can be handled, but the problem, we have never reached a point of working together. Yeah. Because with these ships that comes in the port of Mombasa,
Yeah.
if the government can enter into arrangement, they can be taking our Kenyans for training.
Yeah.
They can be taking them. We don't need to buy a ship. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Because running a ship is another dilemma. You heard of MV Utafiti that was given to KEMFRI, Kenya Marine Research, Fisheries and Marine, Research Institute. What happened? They could not manage the ship. At one point, it was at Kenya Navy. The other day, I had fisheries and all over the place like that. So we could be having, there's a need to create a collaboration, partnership between the training institutions or even the government. This is where the government comes in. The government and the ship owners, there need to be a deliberate policy for government to allow those who are undertaking marine engineering courses, nautical science, immediately they complete classes, they go for sea time, board the ships. If that arrangement could be there, then I'll say for sure the future is bright. But up to now, we have not done anything about it. We have not done it. They have come, there are other organizations, there's some other individuals, companies actually, Bahar Shipping from Middle East, that had come in Kenya with the intention of providing training opportunities for seafarers. What happens? They don't get the support of the government. They simply wind up and go. Wilhelmsen Shipping also from Finland, they have come here looking, want to provide training opportunities for seafarers. What happens? They don't get the necessary support. You know, what I mean by necessary supports is not just from what you hear. These are business people. MSC is doing business. Mask is doing business. Name it. CMA, CGM, they're doing business. Now, when you want them to take your people, what do they get in return? That's the question. Yes. What do they get in return? If it's just word of mouth like this, nobody will come to take your people. After all, they know when they take them, they're helping you. Now, when they help you, what do you do yourself? You just clap and never in the world of today happens like that. So there must be a deliberate effort by the government to enter into arrangements with these shipping companies. And they have ships. It's not that they don't have ships. Their ships are always coming here. Just to talk to them, to create a space even for 5-10 seafarers for sea time.